introduction. Thank you so much. Good morning, church. I found it really interesting when Joseph was talking about in his welcome how we are chosen by God. And I really want to thank God for choosing me to speak today because I always feel unworthy to speak, you know. This is one of the most sacred parts of the church service for me. And so I want to thank God, and I want to thank Frank and Christine for giving me the honor to share today as well. And this has been one of the most challenging communions for me to write because the cross means so much to me right now. My life seems to be spinning at 200%. It's normal speed, and every day the cross, it's the cross that anchors me, and it's anchoring me in very different ways every day. But after much reflection, the cross to me means finish line strength, right? So just as the scripture that Joseph read, I've been very weak and tired. I wanted to quit. I've been at wit's end, you know. The Urban Dictionary, for those that know it, describes a hell loop as a miserable life that makes you prefer death to life. Wow. Since I stood before you all in February coming out of depression, I would be lying if I said that I did not cycle in and out of it throughout this year. Some of it was self-inflicted, and some of it has been an intricate part of my exodus. What's interesting about those two causes, the self-inflicted part and it being part of my exodus, is that they're interlinked because one leads to the other. You see, just like the Israelites, each of us is on our own exodus, our own journey to the promised land, and the path is riddled with deserts. Throughout the book of Exodus, we see the Israelites go through deserts, the desert of Shur in Exodus 15, the desert of Sin in Exodus 16, in the desert of Sinai in Exodus 19. And each desert, God used to return their focus to Him, to the one who carried them out on eagle's wings, right? Since I came out of my own Egypt and made Jesus Lord on the 12th of July in 2015, I've gone through 6 unique deserts, and those of you that have been here for a while have heard me share about all of them, right? But today I just want to focus on the 6th. This year for me has been about self-discovery, about, you know, taking the time to learn about myself, my wants, my desires, my dislikes, finding my boundaries. And those that have taken the time to do that kind of work know how frustrating it can be. When you think you have it all figured out, all the variables change. And because I am a controlling person, this has been a challenging path for me. I've not quite found the definition of everything, yet I have learned a lot about why I am the way I currently am. Maybe you might be able to relate. Anyone that knows me knows that I avoid pain mentally or negative outcomes. Some have called me Joy from the movie Inside Out, if you've watched that. One sister says, "You have great faith, my sister." And some have called me overly optimistic. And while all these statements may seem true to an extent, they're rooted in a very unhealthy space. A life without balance, a life with only light, a delusion because we are on earth and not in heaven. And so I strive to great exhaustion to create my own promised land on earth, setting and defining a vision that God does not even have for me. And when it fails, I'm left frustrated and disappointed. When I am at the same level, okay, sorry, lost my track there. Come on, why am I at the same level I was when I started my career? Why am I single and unmarried? Why is my Bible talk fruitless? Why am I overlooked at work despite my greatest efforts to be excellent? Why can't I speak and use my voice as I once did?
Come on, sis.
But why am I not Why am I not in the place that I planned to be 5 years ago with great optimism? And so I want to quit. I'm done. I've given it my best. I've done the very best I can, and none of it works. And it's in these moments that God takes me through the deserts of challenge. Thanks, Ebbs. My latest desert being the death of a close and dear friend and a heroine to us all, April Baker. Her death for me was God's reminder that this is not the promised land. And, okay, just catch a breath. Yeah, her death was a reminder that this is not the promised land, and people we love deeply and care about will die. The unfair nature of life will cut across every area of our life and everyone else's. We are in a battle, and I will take more hits and losses before it's all over. But God remains on the throne. God remains on the throne through it all, so all I have to do is endure, and all you have to do is endure, you know? God needed me to accept the darkness, then His true light can truly shine brightest. And I could put my hope in Him and not in my own strength. My man-made light that led me to great disappointment and failure. In 1 Corinthians 9, Paul talks about running in a way as to win the prize. And he says, you know, in every race there is only one winner, right? We are all in the great race to the promised land, right? And so who is meant to be the winner if we are all trying to win, right? Well, none of us, because Jesus already won the race. So winning for us is imitating Him and simply finishing the race. A race that can only be won through the strength of God. I would like to share a poem with you that properly captures what I'm trying to say to you. And so it says, the whistle blew, the poem is titled The Race. It says, the whistle blew and off they went, young hearts and hopes of fire, to win, to be the hero there and where every boy's desire. And one boy in particular, his dad was in the crowd, was running near the lead and thought, my dad will be so proud. But as he speeded down the field across the shallow dip, the little boy who thought to win lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his hands flew out to brace, and amid the laughter of the crowd, he fell flat on his face. So down he fell, and with him hope, he could not win it now. Embarrassed, sad, he only wished to disappear somehow. As he fell, his dad stood up and showed him his anxious face, which to the boy so clearly said, get up and win the race. He quickly rose, no damage done, a bit behind, that's all, and ran with all his mind and might to make up for his fall. So anxious to restore himself, to catch up and to win, he went faster than his legs, he slipped and fell again. He wished that he had quit before, only with one disgrace. I'm hopeless as a runner now, I shouldn't try to race. But in the laughing crowd he searched and he found his father's face. That steady look that said again, get up and win the race. So he jumped up to try again, 10 yards behind the last. If I'm going to gain those yards, he thought, I've got to run real fast. Exceeding everything he had, he regained 8 or 10. But trying so hard to catch the lead, he slipped and fell again. Defeat, he lay there silently, a tear dripped from his eye. There's no sense in trying anymore. 3 strikes, I'm out, why try? The will to rise had disappeared, all hope had fled away. So far behind, so error-prone, a loser all the way. I've lost, so what's the use, he thought. I lie in my disgrace. But then he thought about his dad, who soon he'd have to face. Get up, an echo sounded low. Get up and take your place. You are not meant for failure here. Get up and win the race. With borrowed will, get up, it said. You haven't lost at all. For winning is no more than this. to rise each time you fall.
Come on.
So he rose. Sorry. So he rose to win once more, and with new commit, he resolved that win or lose, at least he wouldn't quit. So far behind. Sorry.
Come on, sis. Doing great.
Oh, it's disgusting. All right. So far behind the others, the most he'd ever been. Still, he gave it all he had and ran as though to win. 3 times he'd fallen stumbling. 3 times he'd rose again, too far behind now to hope to win. He still ran to the end. They cheered another boy who crossed the finish line and won first place. Head high and proud and happy, no falling, no disgrace. But when the fallen youngster crossed the line in last place, the crowd gave him the greatest cheer for finishing the race. And even though he came in last, with head bowed low and proud, you would have thought he won the race to listen to the crowd. And to his dad, he sadly said, "I did not do so well." "To me, you won," his father said. "You rose each time you fell." And Don didn't expect to cry this much, but here we go. So I really hope that's the end of the poem. And I hope this inspires you sisters to not to quit, but to finish the race.
Come on.
And if you feel like you already did, you haven't, because in the grand race, the opportunity to get up is not gone until you're dead. So that's what the cross means to me, finish line strength.
Come on.
Wow, that's powerful. Yep. Guys, one more yes, one more getting up. Yep, we can do it. Amen? If Jesus did it, we can do it too. Amen. Thank you so much, Lynette, for getting all that power.